Everyone, welcome to Wigan Fan TV. It's myself, Sean Lawless, and I'm joined by Matt McCauley, who is setting this week. He's in the land of the Dragons to preview the Catalan Dragons against Wigan. You're not in France, I must sort of just get that clear to start with.
Sadly not. Sadly not. I'm in Wales, but that's lovely too.
Yeah, absolutely. The cameras are rubbish at this moment in time. We need to let the cameras catch up, but hopefully the audio's okay for everybody that's watching us. Matt, this is the first time I've spoken to you since the news of Edwards and Lamb. Do you want to give us your initial reactions to that?
Well, once I'd come down off the ceiling and calmed down a little bit, I was ecstatic. That's great news. What a great double coach signing. A bizarre ordeal, but great. And the beauty of it is, right, if Adrian Lamb turns out to be absolutely brilliant, we've not burnt any bridges with him. So it's not like he's going to leave under a cloud or anything like that. He knows it's a one-year deal, and if he wants to come back in years to come, that's still open after Shaun Edwards has led us to glory.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I must say tonight we're going live on rugbyleaguehub.com as well for the first time. We're doing a cross-posting over there. So if anybody is watching us, yeah, it's very, very exciting, isn't it? So if anybody is watching us over there, if you comment on that, we won't actually see your comments. It's nice. You can come onto our video on Wigan Fan TV and do that. My camera is rubbish at this moment in time. So yeah, Lamb, Edwards. So we've got Lamb for 12 months, and then the return of the prodigal son, I guess, in Shaun Edwards. I mean, it's just it took a long time to just get. I still can't get used to it. The fact that Shaun Edwards is going to be back at Wigan. He's just signed a deal at Ospreys as well over the for the next season, I guess. Is keeps his eye in terms of the coaching as well as being involved in the Wales job. How pleased are you to see Shaun Edwards back at the club?
It's where he belongs. It just feels so right. And in every single interview, okay, you said exactly the same thing in every interview, but he shines. He shines like a little bald Wigan diamond.
A bald Wigan diamond. I'm sure you would love to hear that as well. I mean, I think I put it in the fanzine, which we'll come to in just a second, about his interview on Wigan TV. If anybody hasn't seen it and you're a member of subscribe to Wigan TV, please go and watch the video, because his interview is incredible, particularly when they're talking about the differences between Union and Rugby League. George says, yeah, if anybody's got any questions, honestly, somebody asked the other day, I'll just take George's comment down, is when the Lamb and Edwards thing got announced, that all affects your script for tonight. I mean, I'm very, very honoured that somebody thinks that we are organised enough to have a script. I mean, this literally is, it says Catalans on the screen in a second, and it said Lamb and Edwards. So if you want to sort of take the conversation elsewhere, please join in. George Briscoe says, all right, you've got a script.
There's nothing on it.
It was like when you turned up at the stadium in the press box as well.
Exactly.
George says, I was in the sponsors' lounge last week. Edwards very, very willing to talk about what he wants. Lamb less so, understandable. He wants to put his mark on things, and the club are letting that happen. Yeah, that's pretty much what I picked up as well. I may as well put this on the screen now. I'm sure everybody's seen it because I've put it absolutely everywhere. Our latest edition of the fanzine, which I'm really, really proud of. We've got an interview there with Chris Radlinski where he mentions a few things, and that's free to download. We do have a few to purchase as well, which may be of interest to people. And if you hear a dog barking, that is my dog. It's just about to kick off, I think, outside, so the dog's barking. So yeah, we've got an interview with Chris Radlinski. Matt, do you want to give a little bit of a teaser of what your, I want to say article, but your writing is about? Is probably the best way of putting it.
Just one word: Lenaginski.
Leniginski, which is quite difficult to say. Actually, it's all right when you see it sort of written down, but when you actually come to say it, that is quite difficult to say. So yours is all.
I've spent a week in North Wales. It's not difficult to say, trust me.
Yeah, very true. So so we've got the Wigan wear, which is available. Matt's piece in there is it's called Up the Revolution. There's a Russian theme to it, as you can probably tell. Mark, who contributes to the show from Super League Pod, he's got his statistical analysis of Wigan's golden edge in there, which again sounds interesting. Wigan golden edge. What else have we got in there? We've got the Rogue Squadron, that's a really, really good piece if anybody hasn't read that yet. Basically, Spencer Thompson, who's probably watching at some point, has put together 13 interesting players that have played for Wigan. And I won't spoil it, but have a look at the number 9. Have a look at the hooker that he's managed to dig out, who apparently played one game for Wigan on trial. It's worth downloading just to see that, because I was shocked when I saw that. Right, less of the fanzine, more of Wigan and the game that's coming up on Saturday. It feels like we're talking about Wigan and Catalan sort of every couple of weeks at this moment in time, or Catalan beating St. Helens. We didn't give Catalan too much airtime last week, mainly because of everything that went on with Lam and Edwards. We sat together, we sort of tried to do whatever we did for the Wigan-Catalan game on screen. I think we were both impressed in that game. The following week, they went on to beat St. Helens in the semi-final. How impressive was that performance for you by Catalan, and how much of a shock was it?
It was... I wasn't 100% shocked. I'd hoped for it in a weird kind of way. I know what you mean, actually. But it was very pleasing to watch. It was definitely very pleasing to watch. Although, a bit like the Huddersfield game, in a way, I'd quite like Saints to not be in a position where they've got a week off next week, building up to when we play them. And it's the same as when Huddersfield beat them. I mean, we're in second at the moment, and I don't think that win by Huddersfield has done us many favours. Really, it was a bit like
it keeps the top 4 honest, I guess, doesn't it? You know, you've still got to earn that top 4 spot at this moment in time.
God, I'm fed up for this phrase. It keeps it honest.
Yeah.
But it does us no favours, because we're not going to get number 1 spot, are we? We're comfortably in number 2. Coming second, to me, that's second nature. I've been married a long time now, so I'm used to coming second. It feels comfortable. It's where I'm happy being, and that Huddersfield win, that just gives them an extra little bit of, you know what it's like. It was bittersweet.
I don't.
No, trust me.
Go on.
You're sounding very metallic there. That Huddersfield win was a bit like enjoying a nice handmade sandwich made by somebody who doesn't wash his hands. It was nice in some respects, but horrible in other respects.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna leave that there for that moment in time, Matt. To be honest with you, because I think, like you say, we both sounded like Daleks at different points in that, and then I just picked up bits of it, and I really, really don't want to ask what the rest of it was, if I'm being completely honest with that. Catalans surprisingly have picked quite a strong squad at this moment in time. So McAloram's in there, Tierney's in there, Drinkwater's in there. Do you see them? I mean, we all know 19 men's squad can change on the eve of a game all of a sudden, particularly with a Challenge Cup final the week after. Put yourself in McNamara's position. Would you like to see your best team, tested against Wigan on Saturday, or would you rather give them another week off and come into the game completely fresh against Warrington for the week after in the Challenge Cup final?
There are 2 issues there, aren't there? Firstly, they need a bit of momentum. I don't think you can run into a Challenge Cup final without that. And secondly, Catalan love beating Wigan.
Yeah, absolutely. The locals always come out for the Wigan game, as I guess is true in most places, but particularly at Catalan. It's a strange one with it only being sort of a couple of weeks to actually organise and other players even, but they weren't the easiest flights to absolutely get there. Wayne says Catalans are fielding a surprisingly strong side for Saturday's game. Yeah, it is a surprise. It is a risk. And I think the biggest shock for me is have they learnt lessons from the last time they played against us, the week before the Saints game, and Greg Bird got himself suspended, not just for the semi-final, but for the final as well. There is that danger with Catalan. And they have a particularly fiery relationship with Wigan's forwards, I think is possibly the right way to put it. Particularly Dragonfire, yeah, I like it. So yeah, it's going to be it's an interesting decision, isn't it, for McNamara? But I guess it's a nice decision to have to make. The Wigan squad, I mean, probably the biggest story from the Wigan squad over the past couple of weeks is Ollie Partington. He made his debut against Castleford. I'm guessing you were impressed by him. He just looks no nonsense, doesn't he?
Yeah, quite like that. He didn't take any backward steps.
No, he didn't. So Ollie Partington retains his place in the squad. I guess the biggest surprise in the Wigan squad this week is Craig Mullen is back amongst in contention, possibly maybe in that centre spot where Isa occupied last week against Castleford, particularly when he's been put out on loan to Swinton for the rest of the season. So we recalled him for this game. Would you keep it the same as the Castleford game, sort of barring anybody missing, or would you freshen it up? Sammy Kabul has been in that squad now for a few weeks, but has only played the one game against Huddersfield.
Yeah, I've not seen Sammy Kabula play, so I don't know, what to make of that. Everything I've heard about him sounds very positive. Mullen, the 2 times I've seen him play, I've been quite impressed with him. So I'd be happy to see him slotted in there, probably at centre. But we shall see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest surprises, I think, from the Castleford game was the starting positions of Luluai and Powell. Were you surprised to see the sort of revert back to the sort of 2017 tactics with Powell playing at 9 and Luluai at 7?
I was surprised. I was a bit disappointed because I called Powell at 7 at the very start of the season.
It's amazing how you remember that one thing that you got right, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is the one thing I've got right. So, and I like Powell. I think he's a very hard-working player. I don't think he's ever individually let us down. Whether he's got the creativity to be a number 7 is a different issue. But I do think there's an amount of interchangeability between those two players, isn't there? If they're both on the pitch, they can both switch between positions. So, wasn't too fussed.
I mean, I think we've had sort of this conversation privately last night. I know about Sam Powell and the confidence that he seems to obviously need. But one thing I spoke to Chris Rodlinski about during the week was how much one season at hooker has seemingly repositioned Sam Powell from a 7 to a 9, and obviously strengthened in certain places to be able to play that position. That may have had obviously an effect on his ability to play at 7. But one thing that I said to Chris Rodlinski was, if you would suppose the question to somebody maybe 5-6 years ago, somebody that was watching the 19s or the scholarships coming through, to say, 2018, George Williams will have the number 6 on his jersey and Powell will have the number 7. That was a pretty exciting partnership, wasn't it? Maybe 5-6 years ago on paper. But it's just interesting how the remoulding, that was necessary at that time when obviously Michael McElaurin got injured, has potentially affected his ability or his confidence at 7, which I guess is a bit of a shame. Do you think we view him now as back to a 9, or is he sort of a half a 7 and half a 9?
So he's what, a 3.5 and a 4.5
and a 4.
Yeah, I think
3.5, 4.5.
That's the difficulty he finds himself in, isn't it? He's a dichotomized player. He's got in 2 positions.
Yeah, which is never easy, is it?
No.
In fact, many would say that's impossible.
Well, I've tried, but
I don't know. Let's not go there. One person that I just mentioned then was obviously George Williams, who's had a bit of a tough week. I guess stick-wise from Wigan fans, which I guess was of his own making. He did an interview with NRL.com saying that he would like to play in Australia, which, take all emotion out of it is where the bears go to the toilet, to put it politely, is one of those statements. Of course, he wants to play in Australia. It's the timing that the interview was done and then released, which is unfortunate for George Williams, because he didn't do that interview last week when it came out. It was done a few more. And the fact is that, yes, he wants to play in Australia, but he won't be playing in Australia next year. How important is it for George Williams' career that he plays under Adrian Lamb next year?
I honestly don't know. I don't know what sort of difference a coach can make to a player. I do know this: the George Williams that we saw in the first half against Castleford was absolutely superlative. He was brilliant in that first half, and that is who he can be at his best. And of course, the
problem was he was in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, that whole second half of the game was like watching a car crash very, very slowly, wasn't it? It was nasty for all the players. How much Adrian Lamb is gonna? Because I know the thinking is Adrian Lamb was a brilliant halfback. Therefore, he should be able to bring something out of George Williams that maybe Sean Wayne can't. I'd like to think that's the case.
I mean, you certainly think that would be the issue, wouldn't it? I mean, neither of us have played rugby at that level, and neither of us profess to be experts. But the simple issue of it, you would think, would be an ex-halfback would be a good mentor, at least for George Williams. It's interesting with what Chris Radlinski said about Adrian Lamb and this attacking brand of rugby. It almost felt, I thought, that it was a forced issue in the press conference. I don't know if you picked up on that. It was almost like Lamb and Edwards had sort of been told about maybe saying, let's have, we want to be more attacking. When I spoke to Chris Radlinski, he said, no, absolutely not. We never spoke about attacking rugby once. How true that is, I'm not too sure. But you could imagine it certainly came across that way, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It felt like this is exactly what everybody wants to hear. So you've got two coaches who everybody wants to see telling people what they all want to hear.
Followed by buy a season ticket.
Yes, yeah. Advertising never gets more subtle than this.
Put a Wiganer in charge of marketing, and that's what happens.
So I mean, I don't know. Of course, that there isn't a fan of any team in the league who wouldn't want to see flamboyant attacking rugby.
So this is what Radlinski said. I just managed to sort of pull it up on the screen. I asked him, was attacking rugby, was flamboyant rugby a criteria during the recruitment process? And he said, not really. With Adrian, I know him from his playing, how he views the game, how he lives the game. When you speak to him, the colour in his language, how he describes the game, it's easy for people to play rugby. But I never spoke to him about attacking rugby at all. And he goes on to repeat quite a bit. That's in his autobiography, actually, about how Adrian Lamb sort of used to visualise the game before it even happened, and he used to tell Chris Radlinski exactly where he wanted it. And the dog's going again. And Lamb also in the press conference was very complimentary about Terry Newton and the effect Terry Newton had on his career as well, which I thought was a nice touch. One thing that's on here, I'd be interested. I mean, neither of us really know about Lachlan Lamb. Lachlan Lamb deal, you imagine he's half as good as his dad. You take him, don't you? It's a no-brainer. But the issue is it would be a 1-year deal, and we're going to effectively being used as an affiliate club, as a feeder club for the NRL. How do you view that? Does that sit comfortably with you, or in this exception, yes?
It's probably not. I'm kind of happy with it because you don't know what is going to happen at the end of any 1-year loan deal. Yeah. How many players go somewhere on loan and then, loan and behold, end up staying there for, another season or whatever? That does happen.
And the same might happen with his dad as well, of course.
Yeah. And how short are the Roosters of halfbacks. I mean, are they that desperate that they'd want to get him back there quickly? I don't know these things.
No, well, I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the Roosters for next year over the halfback combinations, mainly because, and his name just evades me. Come on, somebody help me out. Cooper Cronk may not necessarily isn't playing on next year, so it's simply a case of, I think Cooper Cronk moves on, and then Lamb becomes perhaps still not a first choice halfback, but then he's the next one in there. So, I guess that's a question that I put to Chris Radlinski is, is the Super League becoming a testing field for up and coming NRL players like Gabe Hamlin, possibly Lachlan Lamb, and maybe that's the future of recruitment as far as recruiting overseas players goes. Who knows? Because the salary cap just doesn't seem to stretch that far anymore, does it? Thoughts on the game on Saturday? Obviously, keeping momentum going. There's a really good post on here about that you'll like this, being the optimist that you are. So Peter Meadows says, if Wakefield win tonight and Wigan win in Catalan, there's 6 points difference. We play Saints next, and Saints finish with Warrington. Oh, we play Saints, and then that's 4 points. Oh, yeah, is that right? And then we play then Saints finish with Warrington away and Castleford at home the week before the playoffs.
This is the kind of maths that's beyond me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing to say is if Wigan keep winning and Saints keep losing, there's a chance. Is that better maths for you? Yeah,
that'll do it for me.
Yeah, perfect. In terms of the game on Saturday, I'm still quite surprised at the Catalan squad. I didn't think it would be that strong, which I think makes this a completely different game now. But then I don't expect that to be the side that plays on Saturday. It's hard to ask you how you think the game's going to go when we haven't got a clue really what Catalan are going to turn up. But say it's that Catalan side, the strongest Catalan side you can imagine against the current Wigan side. How would you see that going?
Let's go over there and do them. It's how I see it going. We'll fly over. I think we're going to stay a kind of a day beforehand and a couple of days after, are they? They're not
this
doing
is turning into Dad's Army sketch now. Is this going to be a Dad's Army monologue?
It could be. It could be my own attempt at being Winston Churchill.
Right. Okay.
We'll fly over. We'll beat them. That's how I'd like it to go.
Well, I mean, again, amazing insight and amazing analysis of how you would like a Wigan rugby game to
Please, go. Can we fly over there and beat them?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way. I mean, if people watch this and go, well, yeah, he's right, he's spot on now. I would really like it if Wigan went over there and won. We've obviously played Catalan on Saturday, and then we've got 2 weeks off. Because we weren't in the semi-finals, we're obviously not in the final. It feels like everything at this moment in time is stop-start, and then the season starts again in 2 weeks' time for that Saints game. Do you feel a bit like that? We sort of then get into the run of, I guess, what you would used to call the playoffs. I guess is round about where we're heading to in 2 weeks' time. Get serious then, I guess.
Yeah. I feel a bit teased by it. I feel like the whole system is teasing me, stop. Teasing me, stop. And then you've got a semi. And I don't like the way it's working at the moment. This current league system isn't doing it for me. Of the snippets that I make of the show every now and again. That's going to be a snippet that I'm going to have to make. That's going to be the trailer for the next show. Right, a teaser trailer.
A teaser trailer in every sense of the word. Right, I'm very, very, very intrigued by this. So I haven't got a clue what is about to happen, but I've just been given some very strict instructions by you for sponsored by us. Mary Port, of course.
All I heard from that was Maryport. Have you gone? Are you still there? You look quite ill, actually, at the moment.
Got to whistle the car.
Do we need to wait a bit for this to catch up with us? I can hear you now, yeah.
Everyone thinks that won't have been deliberate as well.
You keep freezing. That
I think right. Let's give it we'll give it 30 seconds. See if the camera sorts itself out. I'm just
okay.
Sit here. Let it sort itself out. I mean, yeah. David says, "Can you?" Yeah, people are calling us the Chuckle Brothers.
I hope I'm not the dead one.
Right, here we go. I'm just going to try and find the website that I had open before for Macaulay's moment. I mean, no pressure on you, by the way, Matt, after this.
There's never any pressure.
So, yeah, all right, let me get this website up. I think this is what crashed, actually, because it looks like there's such a... Oh, right, share your desktop screen. I mean, people are just... obviously waiting with bated breath for this.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. So you requested? Do I need one or two of them? I don't know if I'm allowed to say what you requested.
I just need you to have a dice. Just one. Just one.
Just one. Okay.
And it comes down to the fact that we're heading into a new era. And I think it was Phil Wilkinson who was talking about the fact that players don't seem to have great nicknames anymore. Was that a few months ago? And so
yeah,
I thought,
think so, actually.
What I'd come up with is the patented Macaulay player nickname generator.
Nice.
So yeah, so if you can think of a player who doesn't have a nickname, or has got a really bad nickname that's just like his surname with an extra syllable added, just give me the name of a player, and then we'll sort out a nickname.
Okay, so I guess let's start with Sam Tompkins. I guess he doesn't really have a nickname that anybody would be that openly aware of. I guess so. You've got your generator of nicknames there, have you?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to pluck a lucky dip adjective, right?
Okay. So
Sam Tompkins is burning. Right, now you roll your dice.
Got a 3.
3. Well, that's good. That's the anatomical category. So Sam Tompkins, his new nickname is sounds like a heart attack. The burning chest.
The burning chest. Right. Okay.
That works.
Okay. David says, "What about Tony Clubby?"
Tony
Clubby's
Club.
a bit of a weak one. Yeah, that is a bit of a weak one.
Okay. Picking the adjective for Tony Club. Elasticated.
Okay.
Roll the dice.
Number 1. Sorry, I was ahead of you.
That is industrial. Nice. So Tony Club, from now on, it's industrial stroke world of work. Tony Club is the elasticated admin assistant.
I mean, it's catchy, isn't it? That's really catchy.
Yeah, I'll be shouting it.
Okay, who else should we have? Yeah, Thomas Luluai, Tommy. Again, that's just his name. It's like a nickname.
Right, okay, so Thomas Luluai, he is hideous. These are random words. I didn't necessarily. He's the hideous.
Number 3. I mean, the dice is obviously broken, so yeah, 3.
Anatomical again. So it was a worry. The hideous muscle.
The hideous muscle. Oh, God. Right. Navarrete, Stuart says.
Careful here. Careful. Right. Navarrete. Let's have a look. He's going to be...
It's a shame it wasn't
Lurid.
the Elasticate. Is the Lurid.
Lurid.
Number 2.
Household items. He is the Lurid.
Lurid are at home too.
Duster.
Lurid Duster. Yeah, I like that actually. That could definitely take on. Right, how many more? Should we have two more?
Go on, let's go 2 more. Go on.
2 more. Right. Any suggestions from the audience? Right. Or Matt, have you got any suggestions for players that have got poor or lack of nicknames? Do we go? Let's go for the other French one. Let's go for Morgan Escaray, just because if these ever come across to them, it would just confuse them. So Morgan Escaray.
Morgan Escaray from now on is to be known as the Friendly.
Right, rolling. Number 1 again.
It's industrial again. I've got exotic, animal kingdom, and fantasy that you've not touched upon.
Oh no, go for animal kingdom because
animal
friendly.
Kingdom. Okay.
Yeah.
Morgan Escaray, the Friendly Snake.
Oh God! What are these adjectives and these names that you've picked? They're obviously intended to get certain names, aren't they? Right, last one.
They were quite random.
Tom Davis. I mean, Tom Davis is like the most bland, straight down the middle name that you could possibly ask for, isn't it? Okay. No offense to any Tom Davis.
I wouldn't say that to him, but yeah. Okay, then. I'm digging deep. He is happy.
He's happy. Go for one of the sections that we've not had yet.
We've not had exotic, have we?
Happy and exotic.
So exotic. He is the happy gringo.
The happy gringo. That's a good one. That's a really good one to finish with. So we'll try and remember. We'll try and remember what they are, and get some merchandise made and flog them outside the DW.
We're on a winner there.
I mean, I'm sure Morgan Escaray, the Friendly Snake, is the way that the way that merchandise is going at Wigan. So, thanks everyone for sticking with us and the gremlins that were in there. Obviously, was a deliberate part of the show, and we might make it a weekly. Feature. Who knows? Matt, enjoy the rest of your holiday in sunny Wales, and
will do. Thanks.
We'll possibly have a special show next week or a week off. Who knows? We'll get organised the day before, whatever it happens. And anybody that's going to the Challenge Cup final next week, enjoy your day. And thanks everybody for watching. And thanks again, Matt.
Cheers.